Hello everyone, here's Savita. Good morning. Today I will be doing some containers and my flowering baskets here that I actually bought last year, but I didn't get to it, so I didn't use it last year. And yesterday while I went grocery shopping, I passed by a nursery and they had this beautiful flowers here. They have flowering buds already that are actually very good for hanging baskets. I also bought some plants here because I want to put some color on the terrace. I was planning to do that later because our kids told me that they can't come over Easter time, but my daughter somehow got some days off, so she will be coming over with my grandson, and so I'll just be doing that really fast and then I have to go and bake some cake and prepare for Easter. They're arriving tomorrow, so I'll have to hurry up. So these are the hanging baskets that I bought last year. It's just a metal frame with a coconut matte lining. So I cut some of my garden fleece that I used for my rockery last year, and I'll just line it here this way. So, and then I already prepared one here. I put some soil and I'll continue. So guys, I'm done with the second one. The fleece are showing the edges, but this will be covered in no time. This grow very, very fast and will be full of blooms, beautiful blooms. So I'll go and hang it where I'd like it, in between the topiary trees, and then I'll do the third one. I have 4 ceramic containers here, and one doesn't have any soil because there was something with the plant, so I had to throw the whole thing away. And 3 containers were there last fall already, so I will not be changing them. I will be just adding some fertilizer and a little sand in one of them. And I mixed more soil with lava stones for the smaller container. Look at me, guys. That's why I always use my gardening clothes. Look at my pullover, full of this coconut matte fibers. That's why I always use my gardening clothes when I work in the garden. Okay, I will be just mixing the soil here with some, I put some sand here in one of these containers. I just have to pull out the root from the old plant here that I had. Of course, that died. And I'll be adding some organic. This is an organic fertilizer that I use all over the garden. It's in powder form. And usually this is enough for about 3 months or maybe 4. And then I will just be adding some liquid fertilizer, organic liquid fertilizer, while the flowers are blooming. So I have 5 containers here in the middle of the terrace. And the biggest container contains the hydrangea macrophylla that I rescued from my mother-in-law 2 years ago. And I'm hoping for a lot of blooms this year. It looks good, it looks healthy. And next to it is the delphinium that was planted there maybe a few years ago, and it keeps coming back. And look at the growth it puts up just in a few weeks. And there's a maidenhair planted under the delphinium. So in this container, I planted the very dark magenta, I think. Yeah, the color is magenta. This is a new color that I saw. Maybe it's an old one, but I never saw it before. It's magenta. And I bought it because I like to plant it in the garden. And the blooms are almost done, but I think it's okay for now over here. So I will be pulling this out and planting it in the garden as soon as it wilts. And this is a Sea Drift Dreamy or Sweet Dream. It's a perennial, and I will also be pulling this out in summer and transferring it in the garden and replacing all of them with some of the annuals that I sowed. And of course, I planted a few crocus and forget-me-nots. and a wooden bunny in between. So this small container here, I just planted a carnation or dianthus, common name carnation, and I think that's enough there. This will fill up very soon. And I have this iron wreath that a very good friend of mine gave me. 3 different sizes. And this one over here is a daisy. It's an annual. And look at the blooms, guys. Aren't they beautiful? And next to it is that other plant that I bought in that tray. And it has pink, combination dark pink, light pink blooms. And this will also fill up in probably 2 weeks. That's why I didn't add anything else. So just to brighten up Easter, I took out some of the eggs that my kids painted when they were small. These are now a few that survived all these years. These were all painted by my daughter and my 2 sons. And I can always tell which one was painted by who. Like this one over here was painted by my daughter. This one was painted by my youngest son. And this one too. This one was painted by my eldest son, Martin. The dark blue and black also. And there's another one here that I didn't hang because this is too short. So I just put it here. This is also from Martin. And in these 2 small pots, I have some crocus and some pansies and some forget-me-nots. And just like I said, this one is the one that also bloom in pink. And of course, the iron wreath from my friend. And there's a sort of container for a candle. And there's a glass insert, so even if it's windy, we can still have some candlelight here on the terrace. And I'll probably be adding some hay or something around it. This beautiful ceramic bunny over here was painted by Martin, my eldest son. And as you can see, he's more of a technique person. So he paints everything that way, which is also okay. It's abstract. And this paper mache bunny here, I'm pretty sure it was from my youngest son. So I have 2 containers here. The one with the hydrangea macrophylla that I showed you in the last video while I was pruning it. And the smaller container contains the Italian lavender that I just bought. and I added one of the iron wreath from my good friend Karen. That green container there is a milk jug or a milk container, a very old one that I actually wanted to paint white, and I would like to paint some foxgloves and lavender around it, but I never got to it the last few years, but maybe I'll be able to do it this year. Okay guys, I hope you liked the video, and hope to see you again next week. Happy Easter. Bye now.